This is the back side of the building. This is the whole open lot. And as you can see, he's right here off of the 19.
Yeah, and there's a big large tree here that kind of blocks a lot of the property, the area that we have the plants.
I'm pretty sure I can't hear you.
Oh yeah, I can too. I was listening to a video yesterday and it's hard to pick up. So this area, the big tree blocks a lot of the area for the cars coming by anyway, so they can't even see it. So we'll walk over there, it'll be a little better. I think it's a good 50 feet in from the road, if not more.
Oh yeah, it's definitely at least 50 feet in.
Yeah.
So as Joe was saying, you see these are all closed. You can't open any of these windows. There's no door. It's just brick. So if they needed to get inside for an emergency, you can't access it from this side of the building.
This used to be a thrift store, and people give me a hard time because I have the graffiti still on the walls and the windows, but I leave it there on purpose because it's considered signage, and if I want to change the signage, they can't do anything about it. If I remove the signage, then in 30 days that signage doesn't exist, and then I have to get permission to have it, which they wouldn't give. So what I have a guy that keeps coming in that wants to do murals on the windows. So right now, as far as I'd be concerned, from my understanding, is I'm okay to do murals on the windows based on the size and the areas that are already murals. So I don't have removed this from the old thrift store for the simple reason is it's signage that was already there, and as long as but once, like I said, once I remove it, 30 days is considered gone, and I can't put stuff back on there again. That's why we have, when people say, well, why do you have that stuff on the windows? This is kind of protect ourselves so that we can still do the murals. You say me 3 of the bigger ones, please. Okay. You don't need to plug this up. Would you like a plug for your store in Philly? So, this young lady comes all the way down from Pennsylvania. Has been here twice. She just discovered us about a month ago, and she's down here again getting some more stuff. They're opening up a plant store in Philly.
Nice.
And you can introduce yourself. Maybe you'll get some people showing up there.
We're gonna be planting things. We're actually gonna be a plant store and cafe shop up in Philly. So
awesome.
All the your viewers are in Philly. You can look us up.
Awesome. What's the name of your?
It's called Planty Things.
Planting things?
Planty.
Planty.
Yeah.
P-L-A-T-I-E and things. It's all one word.
Okay, cool. Are you on Instagram?
I am.
Okay, all right. I'll put your handle in.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We have people from all over the country that come here to shop for plants. About a month ago, I had a couple from New York just opening up a thing, and they drove down only to come here. We asked them where else they were going for plants, and they said no place else. They drove they didn't even call ahead to see if they could buy or anything. We have people like that all the time that come in here. So we have people that are non-resellers that come in regularly from all over the country. So we're not just a nursery, we're becoming a little destination point for our plants because of all the different stuff that we do carry. So maybe one day the government will realize that we're not just a nursery here. So, and we are actually good for the environment. So we're gonna walk through here really quick to show. Then when you get to the back end of this, you'll see what it looked like before, what we haven't cleared up, well, before compared to what it looks like now. To me, I would rather see this than what we're going to see in a little bit. So let's go on through and see what we do. And the atmosphere in here is great with the tree. I mean, it's all natural.
Oh yeah, it gives you the perfect shade.
Oh yeah, perfect shade. It's really big.
It's a lot cooler here than it is on the other side of the building where the concrete is.
First walked into underneath it. And now if you would, just come back to show with these tree limbs hang down so low that you can't even barely see.
Yeah, it blocks you from the road. You just have this tiny little, and even this hangs down, you just have this tiny little walkway, which people driving by at 45, 50 miles an hour, they're not gonna see down this tiny little, I mean,
so it's not even
it's not, yeah. I mean, it blends in, to be honest. From there, you can't even see this. It just looks like it would be grass or something.
We leave the tall grass there. I mean, that's a native grass, so that stays there. That's fine. That doesn't bother us. It's these potato vines.
So they don't have a problem with this. This isn't an eyesore, but this is an eyesore.
They don't even have a problem with that growing here, or the invasive stuff that we're going to go to in a few minutes.
This seems like way more of an eyesore
they're not calling it an eyesore. They're calling it merchandise on this side of the building.
Oh, that's why, because it's merchandise. Yeah.
Right, but it's plants. Like I said, I can plant
Yeah, but
this,
it's plant merchandise.
but I can plant this in the ground and call it landscaping, and it's landscaped.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's not tires, it's not anything else that is man-made. This is stuff that is nature. So other than the plastic trays that are underneath it, it's nothing. That's where I have an issue with. They're not separating us as being natural stuff that's being put here.
Are you guys listed as like organic or anything, like an organic shop, or?
No, because we're not. We don't want to be listed as organic. There's too much red tape to go through on all that stuff. So
I wonder if that would make a difference at all.
They don't care. It won't matter if it's organic. Organic just means that we're not using certain chemicals to feed or treat our plants. Now, some of this was already here. You can see, well, and there used to be homeless people that would stay here all the time. We kick them out all the time, but because we end up coming back on this tire stuff, I mean.
So they're okay with all this stuff? They're okay with these, like,
again, it's not
broken down tires?
They're not okay with it. They'll probably put it on the homeowner, the owner of this property, to have to remove it. But because we come back here every day, there's not people trying to camp back here. You know, Florida, we have a lot of homeless people, and a lot of them are homeless because they want to be homeless.
Yeah.
People don't like to hear that, but being in this area and working with this a long time, I see the difference in that. I have a couple of people here now that are homeless that are working here, trying to better themselves, and then we help them whatever we can. It's basically, if you want to be helped, we'll help you. If you don't want to be helped, then there's nothing I can do for you. So a lot of them are on drugs that are around here. It's just a bad area of town. It's a lot cleaner than it was a few years ago, and that is because of the city doing this stuff, clearing out the hookers and all that other stuff that was through here. But there's still, my wife was giving CPR to a guy in the woods last week because he was not breathing. She didn't give him out the mouth, but just CPR. And he wasn't breathing. The girlfriend hollered for help, and she scooted away before the cops and the ambulance got here because she has a warrant for herself. So Jennifer had to stay there and do CPR on the guy till the paramedics came up. They gave him paddles or whatever they did with him, and he came back, and he ended up getting up and walking away. And she's like, you're not going to take him to the hospital or anything? And they said, no, they're like cockroaches. As soon as one's gone, there's another one in the woods here too. So there's nothing you can do. They don't want to go, and they don't want to better themselves. Yeah. So there's nothing I can do for those people. But what happens is we have those people that come and crash in here because of the wooded looking area, and I don't like them hanging out here. So not even, whether I have the plants here or not, I don't want people here. But because we have this stuff here, and we're coming back here 5 or 6 or 10 times a day, nobody's been staying here since. We're 2 months ago, before all the plants were here, we were having to kick people out almost every single day that aren't allowed to stay here. So we're going to go back a little bit further, and we're going to show you basically what this looked like a couple of years ago, because we've kept it clean since then, even though they kicked us out of here last year. So, but this is what it looked like before. So there's a lot of invasive stuff. There's potato vine in here.
I feel like you can't really see how tall it is. Like,
well, it's over 6 feet tall, right?
Yeah, here, I've got you. How tall are you, Joe?
I'm 6 foot tall,
so there you go. Joe's 6 foot tall, and this grassy stuff is taller than him.
Goes all the way through. We're starting to put some of our compost in here as we throw stuff away, because we wanted to landscape this with to try to block some of this. We were going to put some edible, like mulberries and stuff like that, to kind of barricade this off so it doesn't look so bad. But so we were trying to put some of our better soil in here, because there's a lot of junk soil around here for that. So we're using our compost for that. But all this all up in here, these vines go all up the trees. It's all invasive stuff that goes up the trees. And we cleared a lot of this out. Even this tree still has a lot of it growing in there. It's a grape, but it's a wild grape, but it still ends up killing the trees off after a while. So
yeah, so as you can see, it's a very small little walkway. You can't really see the road. I guess if you scoot closer over to the building, you can, but as you can see, it's pretty covered. From here, you really can't see anything on the ground at all. Like, you can't tell that there's plants. So because it's under the shade, it's got the dark covering. You can't really see it from the road at all because it's all just shaded, so it just looks like the ground.
As I said,
yeah,
so the
it's all blocked.
Has no reason to come down here to access the building in any way.
You can't access it from
even
here.
If they were to use it as the excuse of that, it doesn't work. When we originally got here, this is 10,000 square foot building. I wanted to put the big white opaque containers that, let's say Dixie Paper Cup has their wax in and stuff. Everybody's seen those things. The pressure washer people usually use those things, recycle them. They're like 250 gallons. We were going to double stack them all the way down the building here.
Oh, like the things that hold water?
Right, we're going to collect water from the roof line.
They won't let you collect water.
No, it's not even that. They called it a fire hazard. So I said, really, there's 500 gallons of water every 4.5 feet, and that's a fire hazard? Yeah, it's a fire hazard because that's listed as materials. So I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. I understand plastic burns, and yeah,
but if they're filled with water. Yeah,
but if they're not filled, it still could burn.
Yeah.
But you know, like I said, I could go to Walmart and get killed on my way to Walmart today, and so I stay here now. I don't go anywhere because I'm afraid to leave the property because I might get killed wherever I go. So
he's being sarcastic.
Better be careful. Something might fall on us from the sky too. I understand they have rules and stuff, but sometimes the rules need to be looked at for different situations. Like I said, if I had tires all the way up and down here, or I had some factory that I was putting pallets of stuff or items that were man-made items, then I could understand this. But I can't understand the fact that I can landscape it, but I can't have these same trays on the ground. There's not even height in here, like you said. If they needed to drive over this stuff, they could drive over it. If there was something that they had the access to.
Have you been to any like city council meetings?
I tried doing that. If we went